The Detroit Lions hit the road after a week off to rest, off to LA to face the Chargers back at 500 after a Week 9 victory.
Drives Darius Davis back, and a pretty good return. Goods turning to great. Darius Davis, he is gone.
Big road win for LA last week. Offense did just enough. Chargers defense dominated. Went on a crazy shopping spree. Hey, that's what you do when you visit the Big Apple, right? Came back with 8 bags filled with Zach Wilson.
Wilson out to his left. Tui Pelotu is there with another Charger sack.
Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa were too much, man, for Wilson and his line. 4.5 sacks combined, 2 forced fumbles that LA recovered.
Wilson, the ball is knocked away. It's picked up by the Chargers. This is a live ball.
Wandale's finest, Tui Pelotu, nabbed 2 sacks as well. Chargers defense has never looked that good. They held New York to 3 for 17 on 3rd down, 3 turnovers.
Wilson has the ball knocked out of his hands, and it's recovered by Bosa.
Okay, so the Jets' O-face tends to make opposing defenses feel like the 85 Bears for a day, but LA continued to play the run well, which is important versus Detroit. They held Breece Hall to 3.1 a carry. They've been tough on running backs all year.
Instead, they hand, and Breece Hall is wrapped up by Tui Pelotu.
Stopping Detroit's run game is key to throwing them off kilter. They rely on it to set the table. It set up a Thanksgiving feast the last time we saw him. Jahmyr Gibbs had a career day, bill and a half on the ground. Kid is averaging 5.3 a run for the season.
A hand to Gibbs, and Jahmyr spins, still going.
David Montgomery should be back in theory. He's been out with a rib injury. He's the grinder, 77 yards per game, 4.1 a run, 6 TDs. When he's in, they have the whole Imagine Dragons thing going.
Cuts it left to the house. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Chargers defense is up against a Detroit offense, putting up a healthy 25 points per game. One of the best at moving the ball. Chargers get a taste of one of the most well-rounded attacks in the game. Anthony Ray would approve.
Wants to hand off to Gibbs. There he goes left side across the 50-yard line into Raider territory. Spins out of a tackle. Inside the 40. Inside the 35. What a run by Gibbs!
If LA struggles with Gibbs and Montgomery, advantage Jared Goff. 12 touchdowns against 5 picks. A rating in the mid-90s. Throwing for over 270 yards per game.
They put 2 seconds back on the clock. There he is, the rookie, Laporta. And the Lions have their first touchdown of the night.
Getting into Goff, much harder to do compared to Club Wilson's willy-nilly policy. Detroit has a good O-line. They have one of the lowest sack rates allowed.
Goff has to hang there in the pocket, and he does. He knows he's going to get hit, but you see what the play action does to those linebackers and allows all that field then for him to just lay it out there and make a play.
Goff leans on 3 dudes more than others when he lets it fly. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the star, close to 100 yards per game.
Cutting across, looking for a block. Gets one inside the 15. A big block to the 10, to the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Tight end Sam Laporta, the star in the making. 5 catches a game, over 50 yards per contest, 4 TDs.
Here's one for the tight end, Laporta. And he gets hit by Marcus Epps, but a gain of 9.
And Gibbs out of the backfield, almost 5 receptions per.
Here's one for Gibbs out to the edge. And Jahmyr has got another Lions first down.
LA secondary numbers on the year are not good. They've brought them down the last 2 weeks, facing Wilson and Tyson Bagent. Versus the likes of Tua, Dak, Cousins, Mahomes, it's been pretty rough.
Escapes! Oh, Dak with a ton of room. Pump fakes, middle of the field caught on the broken play. It's Tony Pollard. Breaks the tackle and he's gone.
Lions defense now. After break, holding teams under 21 points, very few yards per game allowed, and been very strong on 3rd down.
Garoppolo. Devontae, he's picked off. Intercepted by the Lions.
Detroit's secondary isn't an easy nut to crack, holding quarterbacks to a mid-80s rating, under 7 yards per attempt. Cornerback Jerry Jacobs having himself a year. 3 picks, rate tuned to 64.6. It's not even on a dial.
Play action. Tip, picked, 26-yard line. Jerry Jacobs.
Aiden Hutchinson is the face of Detroit's pass rush. He has 4.5 sacks.
Look out, taken down to the 26-yard line. Aiden Hutchinson.
But after a hot start, he's been getting doubled a lot and hasn't bagged anyone in his last 3 games. Still, Detroit's defense has one of the highest pressure rates in the league. That's a good thing for its back end, unlike too much ranch or one too many slices of pizza.
Garoppolo's in trouble and down he goes. sacked on 3rd and 9.
Hutch will now get to see what he can do versus Justin Herbert. Chargers won last week. He was along for the ride. He got sacked 5 times.
4-man rush. They get home again. Herbert slammed to the ground.
Herbert threw for 136 yards, just 4.5 yards per attempt, a rating of 65.4. After all the sacks were accounted for, just 107 yards passing.
Good protection here, and Eckler dropped another.
Of course, that was versus a stout New York defense, and LA was without wide receiver Joshua Palmer. They really need him back. Without him, it was pretty much Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen. Allen, the lone bright spot on offense for them last week, had 77 yards.
Allen! What a catch! How did he come down with that ball?
And Eckler did score on the ground twice.
Here's Eckler, his second of the night.
But only 3.4 yards per carry, only 2 receptions on 7 targets. Lions defense versus running backs, upper tier, holding them to 3.7 a run.
Jacobs able to maintain his footing, and he gets popped.
This is a good matchup. Plenty on the line for both. Comment section is open for business. Throw in your predictions. We'll splash some predictions across the screen here.